I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little bro, man. And I'm gonna tell him why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it looks like Pete Thamel really hates the Wolverines. Pete Thamel, for those who aren't sure or aware of who he is a sports writer. He works for ESPN, believe Yahoo Sports. He did some writing for them as well. He is a longtime Jim Harbaugh detractor. And most famously, Pete is the guy who wrote the Manti Te'o girlfriend story without vetting it and had egg on his face. That's Pete Thamel. That's the guy who, with impunity, is putting out facts. And don't get me wrong, some of the things he is saying are factual about the University of Michigan and this ongoing spy investigation, this sign stealing investigation. He is, and I'm talking about Pete Thamel for those who are just coming in. Be sure to like and share the stream. He, in addition to the Manti Te'o debacle, which it absolutely was a debacle, there's no other way around it. He also is the guy who is currently writing these articles. He just released more information today regarding the University of Michigan and their staffer, the football program staffer, Stallions. And his alleged, which I guess it isn't alleged, it's proven now that he's bought tickets to several Big Ten Michigan opponent home games, whether they were playing somebody that, either way, it looks like he bought tickets in advance. Now, here's the kicker, though. This is what not enough people are talking about. He very well could have bought these tickets, and by all accounts, he did. He used his own credit card. We know that. He bought the tickets. In some cases, he transferred the tickets to someone else. In some cases, it was multiple people. In some cases, he bought single tickets. In some cases, he bought tickets on both sides of the sideline. So you could, watch from either side, watch either team's sidelines, because in some cases, according to the report, Michigan would be playing both teams in the future. Now, all that out the way. Stallions obviously used his own credit card. It's not a team credit card. It's not Jim's credit card. It's not anybody else on the Michigan staff's credit card, not an assistant coach, not anybody. It's Stallions' credit card. He did this, right? He decided that he wanted to go watch another football game. I don't know, right? But the point is, Jim Harbaugh doesn't necessarily have had knowledge of. Jim Harbaugh, I'm sure, didn't have knowledge of. No one on Michigan staff had knowledge of other than Stallions. That's the point. There are some interesting revelations in this all. Don't get me wrong. And by the way, if it comes out that Michigan in any way financed this thing, right? And I'm talking about reimbursed Stallions for the purchasing of these tickets, then we're talking a whole different can of worms, right? And whatever the punishment is going to be or may be, it will be levied and it would be legitimate. All right. But at this point, all the NCAA has, and by the way, there are rumors that the surveillance of these individuals recording games is supposed to be sent to the NCAA. So expect another article from Pete Thamel. But either way, as long as those guys don't work for Michigan, which I'm sure they don't, and even if they did, if they just went to watch a football game, that's something different, right? So we got all these things, all these layers to keep in mind here when speaking about this thing. And I'm going to get to the comment section really quick. I'm going to get to you guys in a second. I just need to get this out first. So uh, you have this situation where he obviously bought tickets to give to others, to go watch games, whatever it is. Could have been family members that are fans of these teams. Who knows, right? Could have been friends that are fans of these teams. Could have been somebody who just wanted to watch a football game. He could be running a charity. It could be he's the coach of a little league football team. He's promised whatever it is. I don't know, right? But to include Michigan in this it's not a reach because he is a staffer. However, it is irresponsible to point the finger at the university and say they had knowledge of it without further proof. We don't believe you. You need more people, is basically what it comes down to. All right. Let me get to a couple of the comments and I'll go further on what I was saying. Excuse me. My guy Antoine, buy tickets in and of itself is not a crime or violation, but people want to assume something nefarious. Absolutely. I agree with that 1000%. At this point, people are just assuming, because we've gotten no indication with what has been written to this point that Jim Harbaugh had any knowledge of, that any member of the senior staff or coordinators or whatever position group coaches had any knowledge of any of this taking place. Be sure to hit the like and share button. I am getting to comments now. Antoine also says that people say they would get money. Is possible that he had money. It's possible that he's a rich dude that didn't need 9 to 5. For sure. That's all possible. Also, the NCAA stated that they were looking into getting rid of in-person scouting rule because it's pointless in the current era of all 22 broadcasts and smartphones. Absolutely. Look, let's be honest about a couple things. The rule was written in 1994. By the way, the rule was written in 1994, pre all this new technology, by the way, pre 4K, 8K now television, right? All of that, even before 1080p, right? All of that. But here's the kicker. It was written in for smaller universities who said they couldn't afford to send people to these games, i.e., like a Michigan would be able to, if Michigan is complicit in taking place in these nefarious acts, which again has not been proven. One thing that today's society, has gotten wrong, in my opinion, is trying people in the court of public opinion. Right now, Jim Harbaugh and this Michigan football program that's dominating week in and week out is being tried in the court of public opinion. We are being forced to defend ourselves against the haters, basically. And Michigan has a plethora of haters. You think Ryan Day and Ohio State are happy with losing 2 years in a row? Absolutely not. That fan base is even more upset. So if you go on social media, that's all you see is that fan base in particular lashing out at Michigan. By the way, in this report, Ohio State seems to be the ones running and telling, as you can see by my thumbnail. By the way, I did that all by myself. By the way, that thumbnail was all me, the idea and everything. But anyway, I'm not here to toot my own horn. All that said, Michigan has not been, from the evidence that's been released, and there's been a boatload, there's a plethora of things out there. Michigan, by all accounts, has not been proven to have done anything. And and when I say Michigan, I mean the people in charge, right? Jim Harbaugh, more specifically. They need to make the connection between these things and Jim Harbaugh. The only thing they have right now is that this guy was part of the staff. He's a staffer. That's all they have at this point. All right, let me get back to some of these comments. Detroit Lions, what's good, Detroit? We should have not put Stallions in his name for tickets. That's for sure. Stallions just love Big Ten football, so we wanted to go 30. Exactly, Wes. That's how I feel. He's just a fan of football, fan of Big Ten football more specifically. I would want to go to the other state, Penn State game. So on paper, it was supposed to be a good game. Who knew that both offenses are inept? Who knew that without number 18 for the other state, they can't move the football? Who knew that Drew Aller, and if you saw my interview with him, was a trash can? Who knew that? Nobody could tell us that. But on paper, it was a good game. I would have liked to have been there. And apparently, Stallions is a fan of good football. He thought that was going to be a good football game. Argue with your mother. Can't prove any different. Here we go. Just because a Michigan football employee was cheating doesn't mean the coach Harbaugh knew. Absolutely. By the way, we don't even know that Stallions was cheating. All right. Until we get further information, they can't even prove that necessarily. So all of this is just conjecture at this point. That's what I am chalking it up to. Connor Stallions, a retired military Marine captain who used this fly weekly from California to Michigan when he was a volunteer. I remember that. I did recall reading that. The dude has money. Absolutely. Absolutely. He obviously has the means, at least, to book flights and tickets. He's very well versed at those things. Without a doubt. Didn't Baylor do this a few years ago? They did nothing to them. Yeah, I do think it may not have been the vast network that they say that this Michigan situation is, but Baylor definitely came under scrutiny for a similar act. Baylor was also actually under fire for, the essays on campus. And we'll just leave that at that. OSU wants to assume the worst, keep hope. Absolutely, man. The only way that they can, as you put it, cope with what's been happening to them and what is coming down the pipe at them, because in late November, they cannot dodge this freight train that is coming at them, as my guy Taylor Luan put it. This is a freight train, and it's rolling over everyone. Penn State is going to get some. The other state is going to get some. You can't get out of the way of it. The timing of this is wild. Talks about pay increase, rival game with Sparty, and we're playing dominant football. Man, that's the fishiest part to me, is the timing of this thing. This thing comes out the week of rivalry week against Lobronim. Granted, the game was never going to be a game this year, and we proved that on the field. Shout out to JJ. We'll actually talk a little bit about JJ in a second here too. And Michigan's now the favorite to win the national championship, which they should be. By the way, in my rankings, in the Maize Madman rankings, Michigan is number 1 this week. I'll be putting those out right after the show. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, at Maize Madman everywhere, so be sure to check it out there. Before we go any further, make sure you hit the like and share button. Let's get more people in here. Let's talk about this thing. Okay, now back to what I was saying. Before I'm sorry, I was talking about the rankings for a second there. Michigan obviously is now the betting favorite to win the national championship. JJ McCarthy is the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Michigan just stomped a mud hole in Lobronim. Michigan is on a mission. Jim Harbaugh spoke about laser focus. They were clearly laser focused. And speaking of JJ and his numbers, because the numbers are ridiculous, all right? And I want to go a step further than the numbers, because it's easy to just rattle off all these things that he's at the top or near the top of in passing this season, right? And speaking of JJ McCarthy, beyond that, these throws JJ was making on Saturday were pro-level throws. The touchdown, I believe it was the second one to Colston Loveland. It's a ridiculous throw. He put it right by the ear of the defender on a rope that never went any higher than 11, 12 feet off the ground. Beautiful pass, right? JJ McCarthy is playing out of this world. Now let's brag on JJ and these numbers really quickly. In terms of passing yardage, JJ is way down at 33, which, of 100 plus quarterbacks in FBS, nearly 200 quarterbacks or 150 whatever quarterbacks, that's not bad. What's crazy about his yards, though, being number 3 in total yards passing, is that he's even further down that list, closer to 100 actually on that list in attempts. You know what that means? That means that he is getting more out of every pass. And by the way, he's second on the list in per attempt. Right? So every time he attempts a pass, he's getting more yards than everybody except for Jaden Daniels in college football. Ridiculous. Speaking of that, he's the second most accurate guy in all of college football behind only Bo Nix, who is playing his 12th year of college football. At some point, we expect Bo Nix to be able to be good at college football. He finally figured it out. He's got grandkids. JJ McCarthy is like a legit junior. JJ McCarthy is playing phenomenal football, and now these stories want to come out. Michigan is playing phenomenal football. Now these stories want to come out. Michigan is on the verge of achieving all that it should have been achieving for all of these years, by the way, under the tutelage of, after Lloyd left. By the way, we'll get to Lloyd Carr in a second here because he's not innocent. But after Lloyd left, which, by the way, Lloyd's a legend. Let me say that first. I don't want to disrespect Lloyd, but he's not innocent. After Lloyd left, we had Rich Rod, who Lloyd kind of set up. That's the point. That was the point. That was the only point I was going to make about Lloyd. He set Rich Rod up for failure, but neither here nor there. Rich Rod also didn't do himself any favors, so Michigan was down then. We followed that up with Brady Hoke, who looked like it could have been something early, but it was nothing. It was a big nothing burger with cheese. We followed Brady Hoke up with Jim Harbaugh. And finally, Jim Harbaugh has turned this thing all the way around. By the way, immediately he made an impact. I know people want to give him crap for, the 10-3 seasons and, but immediately the impact was felt. He took over 2014, 2015. By 2016, Michigan is a JT Barrett not getting a first down away from playing in the Big Ten championship and a possible playoff spot. By the way, it's not even a possible, it would have been a playoff spot. That was 2016. So let's not act like Michigan has been, far away from achieving what they need to achieve. Shout out to my guy Mello. I know you're having a great time with all this information, all the revelations that have been coming out. Sucks to be a Michigan fan today. Never sucks to be a Michigan fan. By the way, stop using that X, man. You guys, the education at Ohio State is already under question when Marcus Freeman can't count to 11. I need you guys to start being able to spell correctly, all right? Why are you here? I'm guessing that's for Mello, because Paul, otherwise, why are you here? Nope, keep being delusional, Antoine. Antoine's not delusional. Antoine knows his stuff. No, it's great to be a Wolverine. Absolutely. Penn State was robbed. I agree with that, Paul, so I'm guessing that was for Mello. Absolutely. Now, Penn State was robbed because that call was bogus that ran it when they ran for the touchdown. That was trash, but Penn State was also awful. So I'm not going to completely blame the other state for that. I'll disrespect Laurie. He won a natty with Moeller's players. Then he phoned it in for a decade, which culminates with our loss to App State. Then he told Mallett to transfer. Facts. Look, some people may not want to hear it. These are facts. Granted, Lloyd Carr did recruit Charles Woodson. He did recruit Tom Brady. Tom Brady, more about his professional career than his Michigan career, but he's a legend. He did recruit those guys. I got to give Lloyd the credit for that. Right? That Ohio game was trash. Absolutely. It was burning my eyes. It was horrid. They were horrible, horrible football teams out there wasting all of our time. Watching the cheaters fall is going to be glorious. Here we go. I got to get one. We got one. We got one. One big Bucks fan. Look, guy. Look, I understand. I get it. For a long time, I preyed on the downfall of Ohio State, right? I remember clapping, when Terrell Pryor was getting his tattoos for autographs. But then, as I grew older, I understood the errors in my ways. Terrell Pryor deserved to be compensated. It was bogus for the NCAA to do anything to the other state for whatever those players were doing for their autographs. They're their autographs. If Terrell Pryor doesn't sign this thing, by the way, college football teams, programs have been having players sign items that the players don't get to benefit from for years, for decades. It wasn't right. I understood that. This is nothing. I think Yellowbird was saying this is a nothing burger. This is absolutely that. This is a nothing burger with extra cheese. Jimmy Mentos done out. This is crazy, man. Look, Jim Harbaugh, you can say a lot of things about Jim Harbaugh. He's quirky, whatever else, right? But his integrity, I don't think that Jim's integrity should be in question until you can show me something, because I'm not going to say it's impossible. I know better than that. Jim is also a human, so I know better than to say it's impossible, but you can't just say that his integrity should be in question without anything. We need more than some staffer buying tickets to the Ohio State game. I'm sorry. Whatever. He could have bought games to 100 straight Ohio State games, and you still got to prove Jim is wrong to me. Who's delusional when you got McNamara 2.0? You couldn't beat us with CJ Goody. CJ was our quarterback too. I like CJ. CJ Stroud was our quarterback just as much as he was their quarterback. Shout out to CJ Stroud. Stallion's military skills include identifying and exploiting critical vulnerabilities and centers of gravity in the opponent scouting process. I read that as well. If he wanted to cheat, he wouldn't be caught. Absolutely. He's like a Navy SEAL or something. If he wanted to, he could have took. I'm not going to put that in the ethos. But yeah, if he wanted to, he wouldn't be caught. Absolutely. Just some other things I wanted to go over really quickly. The thing is, whether or not Stallions broke a rule, any team could have done the same and use the exact same methods. The thing is, Michigan is under fire for being top dog. Any Michigan fan who sees this as anything other than Michigan being at the top of the mountain, this is exactly what happens. They start taking shots at you, right? The fact that ESPN is the one releasing these things is crazy to me. By the way, there's a rumor that ESPN is the one who brought the allegations to the NCAA, or brought the situation to the NCAA. Don't forget, ESPN is in bed with the SEC. You think they want the Big Ten to be successful? They see the freight train that Michigan is. They see the inevitability of the situation here. Michigan has a date with the national championship. We're not looking at Ohio State. We're looking past them. I thought I told you, characters, I'm not a rapper. Can I live? I told you 96 that I came to take this. You see what I'm saying? I'm not looking at you dudes. I'm looking past you. That's old news. We already conquered them. We know how to beat them. They soft. We know that. No amount of Ryan Day getting in front of a camera saying this is a tough football team and trying to punk Lou Holtz from across, the TV, through the TV rather, is going to change the fact that they can't stop us when the big uglies put their hands on them. And that is offensive and defensive line. Bottom line. Until they get better, along those trenches, they got a lot to be worried about. Trust me. By the way, Pete Thamel writes for ESPN. Pete Thamel, a huge, he apparently loves everything Ohio State does. Pete Thamel wrote an article a couple years ago bashing Jim Harbaugh for hiring Josh Gaddis. Pete Thamel is a joke. Pete Thamel, let me remind you, wrote the article about Manti Te'o's girlfriend with absolutely no vetting. The fact that any credible news outlet hired Pete Thamel is laughable. A legend in journalism. What's my guy? Pat used to work for CBS for all the years. Somebody older than me, please help me in the comment section. Pat, I want to say Pat Rafter, but I know he's a tennis player. It's not Pat Rafter. Maybe it's but I do think his last name is Rafter. Maybe it's not Pat then. Jim Rafter. Either way, this guy worked for the CBS primetime news for like all of my childhood. He said one wrong thing. He got axed. We no longer saw that guy on any news network for the rest of his life. I don't even know if he's alive now. You see what I'm saying? That's the level of obscurity that he is in now. He was a journalism legend. He is a journalism legend. Raftery, thank you, Pat Raftery. Nah. It's not Pat Raftery. I'm sorry. It's an older guy. He was on. You know what? I'm about to have to Google this. But anyway, let me make sure it's not Pat Raftery. Let me take a look at Pat Raftery. I know who Pat Raftery is. I think he's still like on television. It's not him. Nah, Pat Raftery. This isn't the guy. Anyway, he made a false like statement regarding like George W. Bush, and he lost his job, and he was a legend. I'm sure somebody knows who I'm talking about. But either way, it's not important. The point that I was trying to make is that guy, a journalism legend, lost his job and never regained it, right? And never regained his standing in that medium. But Pete Thamel got a job again after he wrote that trash about Manti Te'o and his girlfriend. Pat Summerall is not the guy either. I don't even know if this dude's name is Pat now. You guys are Dan Rather. Thank you. It's Dan Rather. Yellow Blackbird coming through in the clutch. It's Dan Rather. He used to work for CBS. He said some untruths that he took, but he got some information, got some bad information, and then he said that he repeated that bad information and promptly lost his damn job. He was a legend. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Melo probably ton of decommits. No rule against buying 30 tickets and giving them to your friends. Absolutely, John. The NCAA wants to go down this road. U of M's attorney will eat these flimsy facts up. Absolutely. I think people don't understand, and I had this conversation. People don't understand the amount of money that the University of Michigan, that machine is working with. They think that this is all about football, which, by the way, in football, Michigan is top 5 in the money that they bring in. But that's nothing compared to the academic money that Michigan brings in. That's why they wanted, these member schools to all have that certification or that that certification, right? That Nebraska doesn't have right now and needs to get. But yeah, so it's because in academia, Michigan is a big deal. And its alumni donate a huge amount of money. The coffers are deep at Michigan. But that's neither here nor there. Nobody cares about somebody else's money. I'm not counting pockets. I'm just here to tell you that Michigan has not been proven to have done. Michigan, there's no wrongdoing that we have seen or read on Michigan's part at this time. I started this live by saying, if it comes out that Michigan somehow funded this thing or reimbursed Stallions for these tickets, anything like that, we are opening a different can of worms. Then it looks nefarious, right? Then it is nefarious. Right now, they have nothing. This is all circumstantial. Even if someone delivers that tape of whoever that Stallions had or gave those tickets to, right? That is supposedly filming. And by the way, these were the other state is the ones with the surveillance, by the way. But let me just give a scenario. What's to stop Ryan Day from putting someone in the stands with Michigan gear on in a phone and saying, "Hey, point this phone at our sideline and look like you're recording us, or record us, so that we can then send that to Pete Thamel, the Pete Thamels of the world." What's to stop them from doing that, right? Especially if, let's just say, Connor Stallions, the fan, wants to see some Big Ten football. They see that Connor Stallions has bought a ticket to the other state game. They say, "Yo, this is a perfect opportunity for us to plant someone." You see what I'm saying? I know that that's far out, but is it impossible? It's not impossible. Benny Woods, I predict 3 years ago you wanted Hairball gone like every other fan. Oh, this isn't directed towards me. After the 2020 season, I think a lot of Michigan fans were looking around for answers. Whether or not everybody wanted Harbaugh gone is a different situation, but I'm sure that was on the menu for a lot of Michigan fans. Absolutely. All those who write in these fake allegations because the NCAA is just fishing. Peppers, get ready to eat some crow. Michigan versus the world. Go blue for life. Absolutely, Dion. Go blue. It is Michigan versus everybody now. That's what it is. Shout out to this great city of Detroit. I know a lot of people couple months ago were going hard on Detroit. Shout out the great city of Detroit who started the Detroit versus everybody. It's Michigan versus everybody now. Detroit's a wonderful city, by the way. Go there if you haven't. Maize, he was literally on the sidelines because Michigan had games at the same times. Come on, don't be crazy, bro. Look, man. He wasn't on the sidelines, by the way. If you read the article, he was sending other people. He gave these tickets to other people. I am not here to defend Connor Stallions, by the way, who, by the way, has done nothing wrong yet. They haven't proven that he's done anything wrong. If buying tickets is wrong, then okay. If going to other people's football games is wrong, okay. But until they show Connor Stallions videotaping other people's football games, we just are living on the word of Pete Thamel. And I think, not to toot my own horn, I think I've done a pretty decent job of breaking down Pete Thamel's credibility. He is not the most credible person in America. Mello, you can't sit there and act like that's the case. This is a guy who wrote an entire story on a girlfriend of a man who was in the Heisman race, by the way. People forget who Manti Te'o is or was. Manti Te'o was a legit college football superstar. This man wrote an article on this guy's girlfriend, who didn't exist, by the way, or the person existed. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because that's a different can of worms. He wrote an article on this person, on this person's girlfriend, unvetted. He did no work to make sure that the information that he got was true. That was the whole point of the Dan Rather conversation. Dan Rather, a journalism legend, lost his entire career. Pete Thamel keeps finding work. Something's wrong. Connor Stallions didn't video because he wasn't there. He sent same 3 people to 11 different programs, games. You do realize all these programs have facial recognition, right? Wait. Mello, come on, come on. I need you to come back to earth. All right, come back. He didn't walk on the campus of Google, fam. He didn't walk on to Microsoft. This isn't Apple, right? Facial record. All of these places have facial recognition. You think I've been to a Rutgers game at Rutgers? I've been to an Ohio State game at Ohio State. You think they? I'm not saying they don't. I just think I doubt that everybody has facial recognition. I think that they are looking at the surveillance film. I mean, if you tell me they got 4K, I believe you, right? I'm sure that they can see these people clearly. Fine. I'll concede that. However, facial recognition, come on, man. I'm not saying it's impossible because I know that technology is out there. I'm just saying I doubt that everybody has it. That's all. Tickets were bought in Stallion's name for both sides of the field for PSU OSU game behind bench. Are you kidding me? I'm not kidding you, Ed. Ed Andra. Maybe somebody's a Penn State fan. Maybe the other person was the other state fan. You see, are you kidding me? Are you denying the possibilities here, Ed? The possibilities are endless. By the way, make sure you like and subscribe and share the live. Let's share this live. Let's get more people in here. I'm sure there's some other state fans out there that want to chime in. Let's get them all in here because I got the time. I'm ready tonight. I got the ammo. Y'all got ammo. Let's shoot it out. All right. So look, Ed. Sure, he bought tickets on both sides of the sideline for that game. As I explained to the people before you got here, or at least before you started commenting, these people could just be fans of those teams. These people could just be fans of a good football game. If I was in the area, I would have gone to that game. I don't like either team. You see what I'm saying? All of these things are possible too, Ed. And look at Big Buckeye. Ed, fact. It's a fact. That's a fact. But what I just said is also a fact. Any of these things could be true. Enough making excuses. Oh, here we go. Somebody else who can't spell Michigan is in deep trouble. You called this a witch hunt. It's not. It's real. Eat your words. Own that. You were wrong. Okay, Sean. Sean, you proved to me I was wrong. Go ahead, send the evidence that you have. Show me I was wrong. Because right now, you just sound like you're taking a side, which is okay. I'm okay with you taking a side. Because I've taken my side. You have taken your side. I have taken my side. My side has the luxury of not having to prove anything. Your side needs to prove it. Prove it. At Yellow Blackberry, you purchased the ticket, Stallions. Thus, those people in the seats are by association members of Michigan. That's a ridiculous statement. What Stallions does with his personal money on his personal time is his personal business. That's what that is. 55K probably gets discounted ticks. Probably. I don't know. Maybe he got 55,000 to throw around. Who knows? Cheaters at its finest. Sean is really upset. I'm upset. Sean is that. You're on the right side. Exactly, Paul. I know. It's on the right side. You know, we're on the right side. Oops, somebody's upset. Thank you. Sean is upset. These butthurt OSU fans know their team can't win. That's exactly what it is. That's really what it comes down to. They understand that in late November, they got to make that trip up north. You know what I mean? You get on your bus in Columbus, you go up through Findlay, go through Toledo, maybe you go pass through Detroit to Ann Arbor, where all your nightmares come true. It's a house of horrors. We're old State fans. I hope it's snowing because I know how you guys get with the weather, right? It was snowing. We beat you because it was snowing. Then it was a bright, sunny day in Columbus. What happened then? Maybe you need some other weather condition. How y'all want it? Rain? Y'all need rain? We can order some rain. Maybe the forecast calls for rain, sleet. What do you want? Let us know. Let us know the perfect conditions for the other state. That's what I want, Sean. In the comment section, tell me what's good for you. What weather conditions would you like for the game? But he gave the tickets to two people who were on opposing side. I'm a big Michigan fan. Yeah. Look, everybody in my family are fans of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. If somebody were to gift us tickets to the game, I'm sure that they would want to sit with that vile, disgusting cesspool of a fan base. I would want to sit with the good guys. See what I'm saying? So, two birds, one stone. This runny Maize fan. Y'all cheated. That's what happened. Oh man, come on, man. Look, Mello, you got a legend in your Avi pick. That's Michael Jackson. I want better for you, Mello. Don't be like these guys. We didn't cheat. Cheating is such a harsh word with no proof. You know what I mean? People have gone to jail for like, come on. We need some proof. We've got nothing right now. We've got Pete Thamel's word, and to me, that is worth less than nothing. Like Colin Cowherd said, this gets more ridiculous by the day. It does. I will say this: heavy is the head, right? Michigan has been the king of the mountain for 2 straight years in the Big Ten. Michigan has made consecutive trips to the college football playoff. Michigan has gotten closer in that semifinal game each time. First time they were blown out. Second time, don't get me started. This year, Michigan looks by far, I cannot say this enough, it's not even by a wide margin like the best team in college football. On every level of the defense, on every level of the offense. Michigan has a difference maker at wideout. They have difference makers at tight end. By the way, I can make the argument that Samaj Morgan, Tyler Morris, Cornelius are difference makers as well, but I'll hold off on that. The offensive line is gelling now. They look dominant. JJ McCarthy is the best quarterback in college football as of this moment. I'm talking about right now, the best quarterback in college football. Blake Corum hasn't even had to be Superman yet, but Blake Corum is Blake Corum. The Don is still the Don. He's starting to look more and more like the Don with each passing game, each passing week. We're going to have a bye week this week to prepare for Purdue. Don't get me wrong, it's Purdue, but they're going to get trucked. The point is the NCAA has it out for Jim Harbaugh. Pete Thamel has it out for Jim Harbaugh. The other state has it out for Jim Harbaugh. Ryan Day has no shot as long as Jim Harbaugh is the head coach of Michigan. He's a professional third baseman who I'm not going to say he shouldn't be coaching college football because he's a good coach. He just can't beat Jim. JJ is rolling, unfortunately. He's a beast. Pete Thamel is the reporter hack leaking this stuff. That is Pete Thamel. I'm sorry if somebody didn't know who Pete Thamel was. Pete Thamel is the reporter. He's been writing the articles for ESPN. I also believe he writes for Yahoo Sports. I could be wrong about that, but he's the guy. He's the guy that's been leaking the information. The thing is, I'm sure Pete has all the information that is available right now. He is leaking the information that is putting Michigan in a bad light. He is forming a narrative. By the way, let's not let the NCAA off the hook because they are, through Pete Thamel, getting their narrative across, and Michigan can't say anything to defend themselves. That's why I am here. Michigan can't defend themselves, so I'll defend Michigan for Michigan. Mello, I think it's past your bedtime. Pete Thamel was dumb. Absolutely. I think he may have gone to the other state. You know they can't count past 10. I'm sorry. has one less interception than OSU and PSU combined. By the way, Gabe, thank you for bringing. Let's talk a little bit of football really quick. Really quick, I want to talk a little football. Michigan has more defensive touchdowns than they've allowed this season. You understand how good that is? Mello, one big Buck fan, Sean Ramsey. There Sean is. Jim Harbaugh's a joke. This is funny. This is a joke. You're about to take out half the comment section because you're a comedian. That's what you want to be, Sean. Just let us know you want to be a comedian. If you could have said that from the beginning. That's hilarious. Anyway, 4 touchdowns by the defense this season, 3 touchdowns allowed. Sean's a comedian, by the way. He's like, he wants to be Kevin Hart. I don't know. Give me a Dana Carvey. You're Dana Carvey. By the way, never mind. Michigan, I've given some JJ stats, right? I told you he's 33rd in total pass yards, but he's like 90th in pass attempts. You understand how good that is? He's second in average yards per attempt. He's second in completion percentage. By the way, he's second to 2 different people in both of those categories, so it's not like the same person is ahead of him. JJ McCarthy, all of JJ McCarthy's turnovers happened in one game. I can keep going. The clip is, look, Roman Wilson is first or second in touchdown receptions. My guy Blake Corum is first or second in rushing touchdowns. We can keep going. The tight ends are unstoppable, and that includes AJ Barner, who is a 6'6" behemoth of a man who can't be stopped. Colston Loveland is a monster. Our best pass you understand, Josiah Stewart comes off the bench. I think he's leading the team in sacks. Derek Moore got in the action. McBurrows got redemption against Lil Bronim. Got the pick after they jumped them in the tunnel. It is it's almost it couldn't be written any better than this. If I was playing as Michigan on NCAA 14, shout out to NCAA 14, the greatest football game ever made. If I was playing as Michigan on that game, I couldn't do it better than they're doing it in real life. Real life. Michigan almost has 1,000 total wins. Let me not even get 997. They're going to be the first program to 1,000 wins in the season that they win the Natty. I wish the 1,000th win came against the other state. Unfortunately, they're going to have to settle for 1,001. You know, can't be perfect, I guess. Just close to it. Urban Meyer works for OSU, scouts Michigan. Thank you. This is a great point. He scouts Michigan games. He moonlights as, by the way, he's horrible at his job. Can we all agree on that? It's Sean, Mello, one big Bucks fan, any other state fans. Urban Meyer is not good at his job. He's a horrible, horrible person. I didn't even mean that, but he is. But he's horrible at that job. He said that Michigan was going to struggle with Nebraska. He said Nebraska's got a real chance here. Nebraska's defense and blah, blah, blah. He bloviated about all these things that Nebraska could be. We saw what happened. This guy moonlights as a television personality to get inside information on Big Ten opponents, like they say that Connor Stallions does, except he's getting paid a lot of money to do it. by the way. And I'm speaking about Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer sits on that television week in and week out, picks the other state every week. And I'm not even saying that this year he should have picked a different team, whatever. But we know he's not going to pick another team. Every week he picks them. Every week, it's some reason as to why Michigan isn't just the best team in the Big Ten. By the way, not just Urban Meyer. What's my man's name? He's from Michigan. He's from Michigan. He went to Alabama. I can't think of his name. The running back, played for the Saints for all those years. Somebody help me out in the comment section. Mello, I don't believe this. You're my guy. I don't believe this though. I believe you want to hold off on this for as long as possible. You don't want to see us right now. Trust me. You can't sit there and say that we played nobody. We have not struggled with any team that we face. You cannot say that about any of the top teams in this race. Oh, I guess this must be for somebody in the comment section. Sorry. Michigan lawyers are already picking apart the allegations. They are meant to damage reputation, but they don't actually hold up under microscope. Absolutely. The problem is, Sean Hayden, the problem is that we live, like I said, we live in a society where you judge in the eye of public opinion, and just the allegation itself is enough for some people to, have put a black eye on Michigan. And that's what sucks about this whole thing. Instead of the NCAA gathering all the facts, gathering all the information, waiting until they actually had something to announce something, they do this, and now this is going to play out over weeks. It's going to drag out probably over the course of the remaining season, and it's going to be a big nothing burger with cheese. Patriots did just fine after Spygate. They did. I am not a Patriots fan. I got to be honest with you. In fact, I got to be honest with the Michigan faithful here. I hated professional Tom Brady. Tom Brady as a professional quarterback was the bane of my existence. I am a Raiders fan. The Tuck rule happened. Charles forced a fumble, and they made up a rule on the spot to help the Patriots. I understand it. I get it. It was 2000. It was the 2001 season. 9/11 happened. You can't have a team called the Raiders beat a team called the Patriots at that time. I get it. However, I hated Tom Brady from that moment forward. Now that Tom's retired, he is a Wolverine for life. I love Tom. I hated Tom Brady as a professional football player. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. Stallion's not too smart. I mean, he didn't do anything. He bought tickets to football games. I don't, does he need to be a Rhodes Scholar for that? Just let me know. I don't know. Mark Ingram, thank you, Oscar. Mark Ingram is another one who is anti-Michigan every week. The fact that I have to rely on Brady Quinn to be the voice of reason on that show is telling. Mello, go drink a Miller Lite. Go to bed. Get some warm milk, Mello. Mello, get some warm milk. So how the F did we cheat? Oh Lord. Y'all got Antoine upset, man. I'm upset. That's why I took them till the second half to figure it out. Excuse me. I'm guessing you're talking about Michigan figuring the other state out in the second half. No, that was just the offensive line wearing on you guys. Beating you down, play after play. Get ready, because it's coming again. Pause. You guys understand at the end of the day, they will fire him and pay him off, and he will take the fall. NCAA does not have any power. They can't even get his laptop because he would have to give it up. Absolutely. The Bull brings up a great point here, a point that nobody really is discussing. The NCAA wants his laptop. The NCAA doesn't have subpoena power. The NCAA is nobody, really. They are trying to hold on to the draconian power that they had by any means necessary. That dude could literally walk around in front of the NCAA offices with his laptop open, type it away, looking at film. They couldn't do a thing. They're a joke. They're an antiquated joke of a governing body that is no longer needed, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever one it is. Absolutely, go blue, blue rep. Amazing how this non-story is blown up. Hilarious. It's the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. It's the funniest thing since Sean, the comedian Buckeye, said that Jim Harbaugh was a joke. That, by the way, gut buster. Shout out to you, Sean. I'm not talking about the defense. I'm talking about the 3 points in the second half by the other state. I don't know. I'm gonna stay out of the comment fight. Look, man, I had fun with all of you guys. Everybody was great. Everybody brought their own commentary. I appreciate it all. The NCAA is nobody. Why did Jim Harbaugh miss 3 games? Because Michigan decided to punish Jim Harbaugh, Treppa? Michigan decided to take matters into their own hands? I don't know. They have been buying tickets to OSU sidelines and Penn State sideline last weekend. That's great. So what? So what? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Great. Cool story, bro. I'm gonna miss watching them eat burgers on Saturday. I guess I'll have to tune in on Sundays. I guess so. Hell to all my fellow Wolverines fans. Good night. Shout out to you, Paul. Good night. NCAA sucks. Yes, they do. They've always been against Michigan. Conferences will soon govern themselves. Broke back suck eyes. Go blue for life. Shout out to Dion. OSU, bad. Not gonna lie. They down bad, man. Look, that offense is on the struggle bus. All right, and luckily for them, it's being driven by Maserati Marv. Who, shout out to Gus. Here's Gus. I gotta talk to Gus Johnson really quick, who I love, by the way. Gus Johnson is my guy. He's from Detroit. What up, though? But Gus, don't give that name to Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison's a great player. Marvin Harrison might be the best player in all of college football. That all of that might be true, but he's not Maserati Marv. Don't say Maserati Marv. Gus Johnson, who's from Detroit, by the way, if nobody knew. Maserati in Detroit, people know exactly what I'm talking about. And it wasn't Maserati Marv, but I'm not even going to evoke the name. But don't do that, Gus. He plays for the other state. He can't be Maserati Marv. OSU Insider said they changed all the signals before the game last year. When number 7 gets the ball, don't tackle. This was good. I like it, John. Absolutely. Wisconsin may even give OSU a bit of a game. I mean, I don't know. Wisconsin has their own struggles. They had to come back with a backup quarterback. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh even made his father a coach. Jim's a legend. Bottom line. Maserati Marv and Honda McCord. Oh, man. Shout out to Jitty Gang. That's dope. Honda McCord. Paul Feinbaum. Back Jimmy. Yes, he did. Paul Feinbaum came to Jim Harbaugh's defense. That's how ridiculous this whole thing is. OSU equals other state university. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I like Gus. I like Gus, too. Gus is amazing. Gus does a great job. Him and Joe Klatt. Jim has to go. Cameron, why are you saying such blasphemous things? It's blasphemy. Anyway, guys, like I was saying, I got to get out of here, but be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll have videos up tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow with the week 0 guys, so look out for that. By the way, I'll be dropping my top 10, the Maize Madman, not top 10, Maize Madman Top 25 will be out. I have it done. I could put it up on the site on YouTube tonight. I'll do that and on Twitter. So look out for that. Until next time, no, stay angry, my friends.